Hi, my name's Lindsay, and I've chosen the outfit that Ivan Ivanich begins Anton Chekhov's short story Gooseberries in, as he and his friend Birkin are walking through the large grass fields of the Russian countryside on a drab and overcast day. This is the outfit before it begins to rain and before they try to find shelter in a nearby town where they find their old friend Alokin. Alokin invites them into his estate where they clean themselves up in the bathhouse, get some dry clothes and stay the night, where Ivan shares the story of his brother Nikolai to the two others, with themes of obsession through Nikolai's lifelong goal of creating his own farmland estate, and change, a very nihilistic view of change as told through Ivan, who's seen his brother given to gluttony through his obsession, and Ivan feeling too old to change or make any change. To me, this opening outfit is the true reflection of Ivan, his personality through the way he presents himself and represents, and to me, this is an outfit he would wear almost every day. Also, the style of this piece and the style that I've gone for in my design of this iteration of the story is a naturalistic style. The outfit must fit the contextual setting of the opening scene, in particular the weather and activity in the scene, as well as the country and culture of Russia, particularly with the time period and perceived age and wear and tear of the clothing items. In the scene, Ivan and Birkin are just casually walking through the fields. They are just on a casual stroll on a very overcast and presumably cold day given the Russian climate. So Ivan's outfit must fit appropriately, not too overdressed because they weren't intending to see Alokin, so not overly formal, but does need to be warm for the weather and in my mind not too casual either. It needs to represent who Ivan is, and since he's a bit older, his style at this point in life. Footwear as well is a big thing. They're going for a walk through a grass field, so what footwear would they choose for walking, for the location and for the time period? The time period isn't stated but can be presumed to be around the same time Chekhov wrote the piece, which was published in 1898, so in that 1890 to 1900 time period. The clothes also need to get wet and muddy and show that. They can't show up at Alokin's estate in rain jackets bone dry, so the fabric of the clothes should look time appropriate, style appropriate and non-waterproof. And overall, the durability. In my mind, this is an everyday outfit for Ivan, who to me strikes me as someone who doesn't have a huge wardrobe, but rather a more select wardrobe of durable, well-made pieces that he can re-wear and not think too much about. That will last him a long time, and really, he's been wearing for a long time, but still presentable. Here are the final designs, and now I will go through each piece individually, coming back to this main design as a reference. When examining Ivan as a character, I found it interesting that the fact that he was an animal vet was stated, which I've incorporated into his costume design. I feel he would dress much more like a doctor or a surgeon for the time, which when researching notable Russian doctors for the time period, I found a strong correlation with their style. Very dark main pieces and tones with black coats, dark vests, white button-ups, and dark long bow ties and small glasses. The coat was a big piece of the costume and needed to really make that first impression as to who he is, so I've gone for a black wool double-breasted frock style coat, one that is thick and durable. It's a bit longer than a regular jacket but not as long as a full overcoat and has a more rounded cut on the lapels. The fabric and texture is a heavyweight and thick wool to keep warm and protect him from the rain while still being able to absorb the water and give that soaked appearance. What's not shown in these example photos is the wear and tear of the jacket. Whilst not distressed, the jacket will be made to look looser and worn in, with creases and wool pilling, particularly around the cuffs and arms, to show that this is a coat that he has had for a while, about 20 to 30 years, and wears often, as if he bought it in the 1860s to 1870s when he was in his 40s or 50s. The shirt is a heavyweight cotton white half button-up with a non-detachable relaxed wing-tip tuck style collar. In reference photos of the time, people were often dressing up in their best outfits with very high detachable collars, but I want to go for a more relaxed height and structure that's still reminiscent of the time. For the vest and trousers, they are tweed charcoal grey straight cut tailored trousers and vest. Again, for warmth and durability, matching each other with the fabric but in slightly different colours and patterns. The vest is a bit darker and more presentable, intended to stand out with its subtle herringbone style zigzag pattern to pop under the coat. The necktie is a type of bow tie, a drop knot tie, which was a common look for the time, with the bow tie being very popular in the late 19th century due to the cravat's evolution from the beginning of the century, with Ivan's being made of a navy cotton corduroy. The glasses are thin, steel oval spectacles to represent Ivan's age. That idea of showing he's old whilst also being a scholar, but relying on an external aid to help him in his declining health. The boots were the other main focus for me because Russia in the 19th century had a very particular type of boot that you can see people of all different professions wearing. It's an early iteration of what we now would call a Russian jackboot or sapogi. Now known as a USSR army boot, that type of boot, the cut and the height, is an evolution of these early types of boots. Whilst this isn't the army boot, I've chosen a calf-height black leather boot that creases and has no laces, with the intention being that the pants get tucked into the boots, with the boots getting muddier during and towards the end of the scene. Coming back to the final design again, I've done 3 different variations. So the first one that you're seeing here is one with no coat, just because when I was making the design, you couldn't really see the vest under the jacket. I feel like in a live action scenario, it'd be much easier to actually see that. But if he were to ever take the jacket off, that's what would be under there. The second design there is the real main design. It's the main design that he would wear throughout the first scene. Just a note, the tie there isn't exactly the look of the tie there. It's a bit too shiny. It's a corduroy fabric, so it wouldn't give that sort of shine. And then the final design there, the third design I should say, is the look of the outfit once it's been in the rain. So I've darkened it a bit and made the pants and the shirt a bit more yellowed and a bit darker and more grey. And as well as added my own artistic rendition of mud to the boots. The coat is darkened to give that look as if it's been wetted in the rain. The boots as well in this reference, whilst in the actual examples of the boots, they are more creased, a bit more low cut. I don't mind that this one here, even though it's only the example, and if it were to be made into a real outfit, I'd want it to be a bit more creased. I don't mind here that it's a bit smoother, a bit straighter. It looks more professional. Ivan as a character is expressed to be someone who is quite nihilistic. He has seen Nikolai go through this change, and he's seen it as a very negative change, and it's given him a very nihilistic view on life. So these darker colors I think are very representative of him, as well as being representative of his profession. Whilst he's a vet and not exactly a doctor, it's still in that sort of clinical field. So I wanted to represent that in this look. Thank you for watching.